The story begins in the summer of 1940. Noah fell for Allie the very first time he saw her, visiting from the city for the summer. Every little expression on her face just got to him, but his first attempt to talk to her got shot down. Noah wasn't about to give up that easily. As the Ferris wheel came back down, he jumped right onto their seat. The ride operator stopped it for safety, but Noah only went and did something even crazier. To get one date with her, he hung off the outside of that Ferris wheel, literally risking his neck until she said yes. Allie's soft heart finally gave in. The next day, Noah showed up to see Allie, telling her she owed him that date from the night before, and that all those reckless moves came from how much he liked her. He'd never met anyone who made him feel that way before. But Allie had heard that kind of line 100 times, so she wasn't about to remember some promise from last night. Still, there was something different about Noah. He didn't care one bit that he was covered in dust. He just stood there on the street talking to her. Everything he said had this warmth and sincerity to it. Allie started to get a little curious about this guy, even though she wouldn't say yes out loud. The smile on her face gave it away. She was hoping to see him again too. As it turned out, her best friend's boyfriend was Noah's buddy Finn. So the two friends cooked up a plan and used a movie as an excuse to get these two young kids together. During the movie, Noah couldn't have cared less about what was on the screen. He spent the whole time just staring at Allie. After the movie ended, they went for a walk together. From their talk, he learned that Allie's whole life had been mapped out by her parents. To show her what real freedom felt like, he laid right down in the middle of the road just to watch a traffic light change colors. Then he asked her to lie down and do the same. She followed him and lay down on the pavement. Before long, she noticed everything around her had gone perfectly still and quiet. That sense of peace hit her so hard, she didn't want to get back up. Just then, a car honked at them. They both scrambled up and ran to the side of the road. That little reckless stunt made Allie burst out laughing. Noah took her hand and led her back out to the middle of the street again. Under the quiet cover of night, he hummed a tune and they danced a waltz right there. That very night, they officially became a couple. They were inseparable after that, spending every single day together. One late night, Allie got home way past dark. She was trying to sneak through the door when she realized her father was sitting right there. Her heart was pounding, but he didn't blow up at her. He just asked her to bring Noah over that weekend. He wanted to meet the man who'd swept his daughter off her feet. On the day of that visit, Noah showed up in a black suit that completely clashed with their formal vibe. Someone asked Noah what he did for a living and how much he made. Noah answered, "I make 40 cents an hour." Allie's mom got this stiff look on her face, and the whole dinner got painfully awkward. Her mother asked about their plans for the future, but Noah seemed totally relaxed about it, because from here to Allie's school was only a few hours' drive. The mother realized right then that Allie had never even told Noah. She'd gotten into a much better school elsewhere. For the girl, that was a huge opportunity. The mom made a point of mentioning the new school was in New York. Allie explained she hadn't had a chance to tell Noah yet, but it didn't seem to affect how they felt about each other. Her dad stepped in and steered the conversation back to dinner, bailing his daughter out of an awkward spot. Her mother didn't think Allie should be with him, but her father figured this was just a summer fling for his daughter, so why not let her have it? That night, Noah took Allie to an old rundown house. He told her then and there that one day he'd buy this place and fix it up real nice and cozy. Together they dreamed up what their future home would look like, imagining a happy, picture-perfect life. But right as they were lost in their little dream, their friend Finn came running up in a panic. Turns out, Allie hadn't come home, and her mother was furious. She knew full well Allie was with Noah, but she went ahead and called the cops anyway, getting the whole town's police out searching for her. Allie saw right through her mother's game. She was trying to drive a wedge between her and Noah. Her mother said, "He's a nice boy, but he's from the wrong side of the tracks. He's not right for you." Allie shot back, "So what? I love him." Her mother said, "You're 17. You don't know what love is." Allie fired back, "And you do? The way you look at Dad, it's not the same as how I look at Noah. You two don't touch, you don't laugh together, you don't fool around. You're the one who doesn't know love." Noah heard all of that, so he got up and started heading for the door. But the moment he reached it, Allie ran after him. She begged him to stay. Noah, who'd been just as swept up in the emotion, had now come back to his senses. He knew full well that Allie needed to go to college, and as a working-class guy, he couldn't give her that life. But Allie was willing to give up her education for him, and Noah refused to let her throw away her future. After thinking it through, Noah decided they needed some time apart. He knew staying together would only make things worse. Allie caught on that he was trying to break up with her, and she couldn't handle it at all. She lashed out at him with blame and anger, even trying to beat him to the punch by ending it herself. Faced with Allie's outburst, Noah had no choice but to get in his truck and drive off, to make sure Allie and Noah were completely cut off from each other. The very next day, her mother had her bags packed and ready to go. Desperate, Allie rushed to the construction site before she left, but Noah was out on a delivery. Finn told her to stop chasing after Noah. Their relationship had no future. With her mother pushing her along, Allie reluctantly ran toward the car. She had no idea if this goodbye would be the last one. When Noah got word of what happened, he flew over to find her, but by then she was already gone. And just like that, their summer romance came to an end. But Noah wasn't about to let go of this love. Every single day he sat down and wrote Allie a letter. He kept that up for a full year. All 365 letters, never a single reply. Turns out Allie's mother had been intercepting every last one of them. And so two people who still carried each other in their hearts were torn apart with no contact between them. Years passed. Noah and his best friend Finn enlisted and went off to war. But life on the battlefield was fragile as glass, and Noah watched Finn take his last breath right in front of him. Back home, Allie had become a nurse. At the hospital, she met an officer, good-looking, charming, and funny. On top of that, their families were on the same social tier. Allie's parents approved of the match completely. The officer said, "Marry me and make me the happiest man alive." Allie said yes without a second thought. Everyone in her family was overjoyed. But even Allie couldn't explain it. The face that popped into her head was Noah's. Meanwhile, Noah had come back from the war too. His father had a gift waiting for him. He'd sold the family home and even co-signed a loan for Noah at the bank. The old man wanted his son to buy that plantation by the lake. Faced with his father's generosity, Noah could only feel deep gratitude. And so Noah bought the house he'd always dreamed of. One day, while driving into town for supplies, he caught a glimpse of a figure that looked way too familiar. Without even stopping the truck, he jumped out and ran back down the street after her. But reality hit him like a punch to the gut. Allie was locked in a tight embrace with another man, kissing him. Looking at the smile on Allie's face, a flood of emotions washed over Noah. All those years of waiting and holding on shattered right then and there. From that day on, he worked day and night on that old house, as if turning it into the exact place they dreamed up together would somehow bring Allie back to him. But then, his father passed away suddenly, and Noah hit rock bottom. He grew a thick beard and threw himself into work even harder than before. The only way to escape the pain, even for a little while, was to keep himself busy nonstop. When the house was finally finished, it looked just like they'd imagined. White walls with bright blue windows, but the sad part was, everything had changed. Without the person who'd promised to spend her life there with him, all that effort felt completely meaningless. Still, the house was so beautiful that it caught the eye of plenty of buyers, but Noah just couldn't bring himself to sell it. Allie's wedding day was getting close. She was in a shop trying on her dress, with everyone around her offering congratulations. The wedding even made the local paper. But tucked in the corner of that same page was a photo of Noah standing in front of that very estate. Allie stared at the picture in disbelief, and then she passed out cold. After going back and forth in her mind, she finally decided she had to go see that place. But out of respect for her fiancé, she told him about it before she left. He brushed it off as just pre-wedding jitters and told her he trusted her completely, no questions asked. Before long, Allie drove into that little town. She saw the house standing right there in front of her, exactly as the two of them had pictured it. Noah heard the car and stepped outside. When he realized it was Allie standing there, his eyes went wide with shock. Her unexpected visit left both of them feeling awkward and nervous. Outwardly, they seemed calm, but inside they were both a wreck. Noah just stood there frozen, not making a move. Allie started to second-guess herself and turned to leave, but she was so flustered that she hit the gas and crashed right into the fence, stalling the car instantly. Noah noticed how nervous she was, so he asked her to come inside and look around. They caught each other up on the years they'd missed. If they couldn't spend their lives together, at least they could be the most precious friends in each other's lives. That night, they talked for hours and hours, well into the early morning, before Allie finally got up to go, dragging her feet. But just as she was about to walk out the door, Noah changed his mind. He asked if he could take her somewhere the next day. The next day, Noah took her out on the lake in a rowboat. The scenery was beautiful, almost like a dream. Allie remarked on how much Noah had changed over the years and complimented him on the house. Noah said, "I promised you, didn't I?" That hit Allie right in the chest. Just then, a downpour came out of nowhere. Allie scrambled around trying to find cover, looking completely ridiculous. Noah watched her, and for the first time in 7 years, he actually laughed. A real one, but it was all too late now. Allie couldn't hold back her question anymore. She said, "Why didn't you write to me? Why? I waited 7 years for you. Now it's too late." Noah said, "I wrote you 365 letters. I wrote you a letter every single day for a year," Allie said. "You wrote me?" Noah said, "Yes. It never ended for me. It still hasn't." That flame they'd both tried so hard to put out came roaring back to life. The next morning, Allie opened her eyes and saw a bouquet of flowers sitting by the bed. Noah told her to follow the arrows. A surprise was waiting. She followed the arrows painted on the floor and walked into a room she'd never seen before. A studio appeared right in front of her, exactly what Noah had promised her all those years ago. Paints and brushes in every color were laid out, ready to go. She stepped out onto the balcony and painted a picture right there. But just then, there was a knock at the door. Her mother had shown up once again to stand in the way of this love. She took her daughter to see someone, a weathered old worker in the distance, her first love from years ago. Back then, they'd loved each other deeply, but her mother knew that this man couldn't give her the life she wanted, so she'd broken it off. But now, looking at that old man, the always composed mother broke down in tears. She handed Allie every single letter Noah had written and told her to choose her own future. Faced with all those letters that had arrived 7 years too late and the man she'd loved for 7 years, Allie started to waver. She didn't know how to face her fiancé, and she didn't want to hurt Noah all over again. On the drive back, Allie opened those letters. Every single one was filled with Noah's deep longing for her, each one painting that unforgettable love and his wish to spend the rest of his life with her. Every word, every line told Allie the same thing. Whatever decision she made, someone was going to get hurt. So she mustered up her courage and went to see her fiancé, telling him the whole truth without holding anything back. His understanding only made Allie feel guiltier. But just when she decided to stay with him, her fiancé actually chose to let her go to Noah instead. Even though he loved her deeply, he didn't want her to feel torn, and he didn't want her to choose him out of guilt. In the end, Allie broke off the engagement. She threw off the chains of obligation, packed her suitcase, and went back to that estate. There, she and Noah finally made good on the promise they'd made all those years ago, and set out on that long journey of love together. Many years later, Allie was struck with Alzheimer's disease. She'd forgotten everything from her past, so Noah turned their estate into a nursing home, staying by her side through the rest of her days. He wrote their story down in a notebook and read it to her every single day, never getting tired of it, hoping that this love so deeply etched into his soul might somehow bring her memory back. All through those long years, Noah stayed right there with her, showering her with every bit of love he had. And every now and then, Allie would suddenly snap back to reality for a moment and recognize the man standing before her. In those brief moments, they danced together, just like when they were young, under soft, dim lights. Those moments of clarity came fewer and farther between as time went on, but each short reunion made up for all the time they'd lost over the years. One night, Noah came to Allie's bedside just like he always did. He gently took her hand and started reading their story out loud. Then they lay down side by side, holding each other's hands tight, and said goodnight. The next morning, when the nurse opened the door, she found the two old folks with their fingers locked together, peaceful smiles on their faces. What hits you hardest in this movie is never the big, passionate moments of youth. It's the way they stuck together through old age. When Allie forgot everything, Noah never gave up on her. Instead, he chose the gentlest way to stay with her and fight the forgetting side by side. As for how to choose love, the movie doesn't give you a clear-cut answer. Allie's mother teaches us through her own life. Choosing money and security might give you a comfortable life, but it might also leave you with a lifetime of regret. While choosing love might come with struggles, but at least you're living for yourself. Love doesn't have that many excuses. If it doesn't work out in the end, it just means you didn't love each other enough. Real love means being willing to take on the whole world for someone, willing to spend your whole life protecting one person, and not even death can tear you apart. May every one of us out there in this big wide world find that person who lets us drop all our walls, the one we'd give our whole life to love. And may we all live this one life with no regrets.